My name is Mary Wanjathuo. I'm the founder and CEO of Cityscape Trend Services Limited. My role is to champion, advocate, and lobby for decent work, decent pay, human rights, and economic growth for those at the bottom of the pyramid dwelling in informal settlements in urban and peri-urban areas. Socio-economic development is about improving people's lives and helping them to maximize on their highest potential. And we do this by ensuring that that simply means that you don't give people fish, but you show them how to fish. And how do you do that? We have come up with many programs that we have at Cityscape Trend Services Limited. We have, for example, we have a program where we still help people on socio-economic development. We have a program called Jiweze program. Jiweze program is a program whereby we look for organizations to give us cleaning services. Cleaning service that is sustainable, like we can have a contract for 10 years, and then we can take these people and ensure that we help them economically by ensuring that they can either save, come up with something, like someone can buy a boda and they can use it when they're at work. Someone can do it, or when they are off duty they can actually do it to earn income. We can also come up with these collaborations we form with the customers to clean. We can also collaborate with the real estate companies whereby they can be given pieces of land. So that is how the Jiweze program is about. The other program is the Cycling to Work. How do we empower them economically and socially? So the Cycling to Work program is started when COVID started, during COVID pandemic, and we thought that it would be good for them instead of using the public transport, because the virus pandemic is a serious stuff that it can be spread without you seeing. It is an invisible enemy. And we thought that if we have collaborations with a bike company, we can actually get them bikes. So we had a collaboration with Buffalo, Kenya. Then we spread the cost for 2 years so that these people can be able to afford the bikes. And when they have the bikes, then that means if they were using 6,000 for transport to go to and from home, and that 5,000 can be used in a different way. It can be put a roof over their head, it can be food on their table, it can be shoes on their feet, it can be education for their children, it could be probably even getting transport for their children to and from home. So economic benefits were good. And the other thing was about health also. We say that your health is your wealth. So we thought the Cycling to Work would be something that would help them to be healthy, and having that we are living in very troubled times when there's a lot of anxiety. There was a lot of anxiety. There were a lot of fear during COVID pandemic. There was a lot of depression cases, domestic violence, and mental health cases. We learned that during COVID-19, the cases in 2019, the mental health cases were 169, and in between 2020 and 2021, cases had escalated to 486. That's huge. And we thought cycling to work, and actually when you are cycling, it unclutters your mind and helps you have a lot of healthy benefits. So the other program that we have done to create socio-economic development for our people is called Salama Salamin. Salama Salamin is a program that enables the workers to have decent pay. So we pay them we ensure that every person is paid a minimum wage, and we cannot take a contract that is underpaying us so that we just make money. We take a contract that can help people. So everybody has to be on a minimum wage. But however, there's a lot of collaborations between our workers. There's a lot of collaboration between our customers. We talk to our customers so that now we can increase. The other day, the minimum wage has gone up again during Labor Day, and right now minimum wage is 15,000. So we have started speaking to our customers. We've actually effected as we speak right now. As I speak right now, that have already effected one of the projects where now we are paying 15,000. The others is step by step. So that's why I'm saying it's always collaboration. When you engage your customers, when you engage your workers, then you are able to come up with ways in which you can help people and make the world a better place. So decent work. Then we have the same, Salama Salamin has another part, which is decent working condition. With the decent working condition is a huge benefits for people, because maternity leave for 3 months, you can go for maternity for 3 months. If your workstation is around the area in which you are working, at 10 o'clock you are allowed to go and breastfeed your child and then come back with arrangements with your supervisor or regional manager. That is because that we believe that if the children are healthy, then we'll have a healthy society. So breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding for us is very key for our people. We train them how to ensure they have exclusive breastfeeding. So there is paternity leave, there is sick leave, there is compassionate leave, there is NSSF, there is NHIF, there is WILBA in case you have injury when you are working. In case you become sick, we believe that you are sick and we give you a sick off. So these ways are ways to encourage workers. These are ways that inspire and motivate workers to work harder, and for us is a way of eradicating modern day slavery, is a way of eradicating things that are not good for people, because we say putting people first is humanity. So and lastly we have a program called Mazingira Bora. Mazingira Bora is a project that we started doing it. It is to ensure that we reduce human health effect or maybe our cleaning detergents, the cleaning detergents that we have to ensure that the cleaning detergents are safe for our customers, they are safe for our workers, they will not be corrosive to their hands, they will not be toxic, they will not cause health effect, especially through inhaling, So we made sure that we have clean, eco-friendly products that do not also damage the environment, that we can use vinegar and water to clean windows, that we can use bicarbonate soda to scrub our floors, that we can use spirit to actually kill the virus or the bacteria, and many others, because it is a process. It is not an event. Finding out what works well and what's not working and how can it work has been our motto. And also we have a program called Angaza. Angaza is a program that just started about a month ago or two, is whereby we are taking people, either girls or maybe even young university students, both males and female, and we help them to, we bring them into our workspace and we mentor them, or we go out there and we talk to them about our sustainable development goals and human rights, and how we use sustainable development goals and human rights to do the business in the right way, and to create a world that we want to see. Doing the right thing, and sometimes people say doing the right thing is actually very expensive to do, and I'm here to tell you that doing the right thing is the right thing to do, even when it's difficult to do, because it is not expensive. We say that the conventional wisdom is that when you do pollution, it's very expensive. We say that when you create health and safety policies and come up with ways to help employees not to get accident at the workplace, it's actually expensive. The conventional wisdom is that when you create better working conditions, it's actually very expensive. And I'm here to tell you that it is actually not very expensive. When you stop polluting and causing damage to the environment, causing human health effects to the workers will not come tomorrow to work because they are sick. They will call off. That becomes very expensive for the organization. So it's actually very cheap. For example, I'll show you with our Cycling to Work program. When COVID came and we thought that risk to people, is actually going to be very expensive if we do not mitigate the risks. So we came up with bicycles for them to cycle to work. I'll tell you for a fact, this has helped us because people did not become sick. They did not catch COVID. If they went to a matatu that was full, probably they could have catch COVID, but now they did not. So doing the right thing, socio-economic initiatives are good initiatives. They actually help you reduce the cost. For example, we are cleaning windows with water and vinegar, the bicarbonate soda to scrub the floor. These are things that we can eat. They are very cheap. So actually, when you also make sure that your workplace is healthy and safe, there's no sexual harassment at the workplace. There is no split oils in your organization that people will slide and fall. These are ways that will help you reduce the cost. These are ways that will help your business stay forever. For example, we have also seen in the media whereby some organizations say that they have put some gadgets to minimize carbon emissions in their cars, these motor cars, and later it was found it was not true. These companies had a lot of losses because today the customer is very sharp. Today the customer wants people who are thinking about people. Today customer, they want people who are actually doing it and doing the right thing at the right time that does not affect the people, does not affect the environment, that does not affect the environment in which we are working, that supports people and lifts people up. We have also seen in cases where a company that was using child labor, and using child labor, we say it is actually very expensive because these are risks. And later people said we cannot buy items created by a company that is using child labor, and the company fell into a lot of losses. So I would like to say that doing the right thing and socio-economic benefit, using sustainable development goals to solve world problems, most pressing humanity challenges through your business, not putting profit ahead, but doing the right thing and then the profit will fall is not expensive, but actually very economic to do business. Can small businesses be able to achieve doing business in the right way, doing the right thing through the social economic development? Yes, it can be done. And actually, as I said, when you do business putting profit first, you will do anything. You will compromise on your values, you will compromise on your principles, you will compromise on what you say that you will not do. And that way, it will actually make doing business more expensive. Because remember, there is law, there is labor laws. Remember, there is also WILBA laws. There is also other laws that have been put for us to do business, even to pay tax. That is a law. If you don't do, then it becomes expensive. But if you do the right thing as a citizen, if you do the right thing, even when doing the right thing is hard, then I don't see any cost of business becoming expensive. Like in the media where we have had all these cases. So what can employees do to ensure that their socio-economic well-being is being met? I would say for the first thing is that engage. Number one is engage, number two is engage, and number three is still engage, because when you engage with workers, management, top position, engage with the workers, and even the workers engage with themselves. Engage, air your views, air your challenges, air what you are going through, because we say human business and human rights, it's not something perfect, and it is not something that that businesses and workers can switch on and switch off whenever they feel like. It is a continuous thing. It's a process, and wherever it is, and problems, abuses, violations can actually be reduced, or even minimum wages, or even better working conditions can only be created when people engage. Workers engage with workers, workers engage with top management, and that way the lives of workers can be improved. Also training, a lot of training, adequate training in organization. is another stepping stone to change people's life, because when you get into a space where people are empowered every day, people are trained on what is happening, on what the company is doing, is actually a way to ensure that employees can change their well-being. And also coming up with ideas. I keep saying that a valuable worker, a valuable person who have been employed, you need to keep bringing value to the table. Bring value, so that when you bring value, then you become also valuable. Because I keep saying that for you to be successful is the value that you bring in whatever place you are, value that you bring on table at your workplace, and that is key. So engage, number one, engage, number two, and engage, number three. So engaging workers, engaging with your employers can actually get to know what are the problems or the challenges you have, how can we prevent them, and how can we even mitigate in case challenges, abuse, violations have come at the workplace. How can we then now move to the next level? So I think that is so key. Just speaking to the United Nations has been a great achievement. And beside that, it's just rethinking the role of business in the society, because what I know for sure is that if the society is struggling, it's so difficult for businesses to be able to thrive. So unless we have a healthy society, then we can have healthy businesses that are thriving and growing beyond leaps and bounds and flourishing. So I think that has first and foremost been my greatest achievement, knowing that I can rethink the role of business in the society. Well, I think I have faced challenges, especially looking for collaboration and having to talk to people, telling them to partner so that you can do the right thing and take this thing to the next level. Getting collaboration, even for people to give you space, to listen to you that about this good thing that you want to do, that unless we come together, challenges cannot be solved by one person. Like the programs we are doing, we need to have collaborations with the government, we need to have collaboration with the civil society, we need to have collaborations with the private sector, and we need to have collaboration with the community. So for you to get this collaboration is a hill task, but what I know, I believe that you have to continue pushing and going, and eventually be able to achieve. The other thing is about writing proposal, even writing proposal for collaboration. Sometimes I don't have the skills, I don't have even a person within the organization who can be able to have proper skills in writing the proposal. Sometimes we could write many proposals and stop and ask ourselves, are we writing the right proposals? Are we putting the right way for people to buy into our idea? So I think that has been a huge struggle. Another thing that I have really struggled is also customers. Sometimes the people will tell you we are not about doing the right thing. Profits for us is number one. So you'll find where people will tell you we don't care about rethinking the role of business in the society. And in such a way, you just find that you cannot be in their space. You can't either work for them, you can do collaboration with them. It's a hard thing. Also, another challenge that I have gone through is even workers. Sometimes we say human rights. It's not something that it's not a abracadabra that you do it pop and things magic happen. So it's about talking to people, it's about engaging people, it's about training them on the right procedures, the right processes, the best practices, until they start internalizing and they start practicing what they preach. But now you'll find that sometimes you can teach, but still people will still drop the balls. So we will say no sexual harassment, you'll find there will be sexual harassment. We'll say there will be no polluting the environment, you will still find things like that will happen. We will say, of course, this is what we stand for, but you'll find people doing a different thing. So that's also another challenge. What I know is that human rights, we say that it's something you have to keep on doing assessment, getting to know what are the negative impacts, what are the positive impacts, then working on them. How do you prevent them? Then how do you mitigate them? And how do you address them? So it is It is not a switch where people or companies can switch on and switch off wherever they want. So I think it's a mountain. It's a mountain when we have such things happening. And finally is also you'll find a lot of rejections. People will not even trust you. Are you going to steal the idea? Are you going to steal the idea? You'll also find people who have self-interest, that they do not have the interest of the bigger people or bigger society. So those are also other challenges that we actually face. Something that I would like the government to regulate and even create an environment where people can do business in a proper way is just ensuring that there's a lot of law enforcement. Because, for example, we can say we want to ensure that there is decent pay, there is decent work, and yet the laws are clear, they are there, but the enforcement is not there. So I think that is one of the things I would like such to be done. And other things are probably also thinking about the most vulnerable people, marginalized people. Currently, I've seen the government put in things like affordable homes, affordable housing, because it will mostly target the marginalized, the vulnerable groups. That is a good way to ensure that people's lives are being lifted, people are having high standards of living, and we can reduce crime rates, and we can have environments that are thriving, and businesses will thrive, and everybody will thrive. Another thing is also the other big five was on manufacturing. I think some manufacturing will be a great way to go, because when you think about manufacturing, we say buy Kenya, beat Kenya. So if we can encourage more local manufacturing, things that are not being manufactured locally, like the bicycles we are talking about right now. The bicycles are extremely expensive. Suppose we have local industries where we are, we are manufacturing our own things. So buy Kenya, beat Kenya. We can be able to create more jobs. We can be able to ensure that the living standards of people have been improved, that people are now in another level, and I believe it's an ecosystem. So promoting the local manufacturing, ensuring that we have more manufacturing and more items are actually manufactured locally. Even the wheelchairs, if they are manufactured locally, everybody will be able to the vulnerable groups or marginalized groups will be able to afford them. Like now we are talking about driveways for people with disability. At the same time, when we look at how many people have those things, the wheelchair, very people have, because they are extremely expensive. But now encouraging local manufacturing, to just take us to another level. Oh yes, this year I was recognized as the Kenya winner, SDG pioneer on socio-economic well-being, and that was amazing. And for me, I say it's a huge inspiration. It's an inspiration for other people out there to know that if I can do it, they can also do it. And if it is being done locally, they can also do it. So let this be an inspiration to people out there that they can do it. And it's all about rethinking the role of business in the society. Business leaders, world leaders, individuals rethinking the role of business in the society. So this means that we were able to come up with a program, and this was mostly the decent work, decent pay, where we ensure that our workers are paid well, where we ensure our workers have better working conditions. That is maternity leave, paternity leave. One time I was working in a hotel, and I was employed as a worker, and I remember you would work long hours. You are not paid pay. They cannot pay you for those hours that you have incurred. You are paid the little money. So they underpay you. When you become sick, there's no off. When you have, maybe you've lost a loved one, then there's no compassionate leave. So that is very unjust. That is not justice. So when we give better working conditions, when we pay people decent pay, it's the right thing to do, because and it is a human right. It is a better way of treating people, because I keep believing that you have to treat people the way you'd like to be treated. And right now, with how the world is, how the world, we live in troubled times. We actually need leaders with the heart to care. Emotional intelligence, how do you treat me? So this is actually very important. And the other thing was our Cycling to Work program. The Cycling to Work program was amazing, because during COVID-19, what happened is that we wanted to ensure that our workers do not catch the COVID-19 pandemic virus, because it is invisible, it cannot be seen, it cannot be touched, and you can never know even when it attacks you. So we thought, instead of them using the public transport, we can actually have bicycles. So we had collaboration. We spoke to 10 companies. Only one company actually got it. Only one company understood what it was, and that was Buffalo Bicycle Kenya. We collaborated with them. I spread the cost for 2 years, and today they own the bicycles. And through engagement, they actually said they do not want the bicycles to be. Initially, I thought that the bicycles should actually belong to the organization. And through engagement, again, they said that they would love the bicycles to belong to them. And for us, it was just what we actually needed. So after we have given the bicycles to them, to the first pilot test, they got accident. So one got an accident on Mombasa Road. The other one got an accident on Waiyaki Way. He was hit, but he got minor injuries. The other one was hit on Muthaiga, and he was thrown to a ditch. So this is very sad. And then the other one was hit by a border on along KBC Road, and this was very sad. So after the accident occurred, because we use a human right due diligence process to be able to solve the problems that we have internally. And one of the steps, just to take you through, one of the first steps is to assess the impacts that we have, whether they are positive or negative. Number two is to take these impacts, whether they are negative or positive, integrate them into policies, integrate them into procedures, integrate them into best practices, integrate them into also trainings. That's what we do. And the third step is about reporting. How do you report? You have to monitor and evaluate every time. So that's how we monitored on the bicycles. When people got accident, we got to know that now they are paying more people. The wage bill has got high because these people got sick. These people got injured and they didn't come to work, so the cost went up. And the last step is about reporting to the public. We write communication in progress to say how these things have happened. So when these people got accident, we realized we do not have cycling lanes. We do not have accessible and resilient cycling lanes, and even past lanes for pedestrian, walkways for pedestrian, and even for persons with disability. Wherever we are championing on the sustainable development goals, we call it that it's leaving no one behind. That's why we say the persons driveways for persons with disability. So as you do good, ensure you do not leave the most vulnerable, the most marginalized people in the society, because the most of the times the society forgets them, we turn a blind eye to the vulnerable and the marginalized groups. So when these people got accident now, after looking around, and we found that we actually do not have cycling lanes and accidents have happened, then we now started advocacy and lobbying for proper cycling lanes. We started advocacy on proper pedestrian walkways and driveways for persons with disability. And what this means is that when everybody is cycling to work and there are proper cycling lanes, then we can reduce inequality. But bicycles can as I mentioned before, that if we have a lot of manufacturing of local bicycles, then the bicycles will be cheap and everybody will be able to afford the bicycle, leaving no one behind. Marginalized and vulnerable group can be able to afford these bicycles. Then we can reduce inequality. The other thing, bicycles are carbon emission free. They are good for the environment, and we can reduce pollution, we can reduce human health effect. And the other thing is about congestion. We can actually decongest the city. Sometimes you can find that there's a lot of traffic, but if we have proper cycling lanes, most people can now walk, people can cycle. Then if you have proper pedestrian walkways, now people can actually be motivated and inspired to walk. Like where I'm staying right now, I have found we have a better pedestrian walkways. They have been put. The government is doing good, but still a lot to be done. I have seen also cycling lanes. Even in former settlements, there are places where roads have been done. There are places where cycling lanes have been done, but we still have a lot to be done. So people will be encouraged to walk to work. People will be encouraged to cycle to work, and then we can decongest the city. So the other thing we are doing on this project is that we are advocating for policy transformation. So we want to ensure these policies for traffic were done long time ago. Now we want them to be redone and to ensure that we can capture, because most of the roads have been done with the mentality of thinking about the vehicles. But now we want them to think that the roads can now accommodate pedestrians. They can also now accommodate cycling, and they can also accommodate people with persons with driveways for persons with disability. So this policy transformation will be something key. And also on the policy, we also want to ensure that major agencies have been brought to the table through the civil society. I'm talking about schools. We can ensure that every child going to school can be able to ride a bicycle. It becomes a physical exercise that is being done in school, starting from the low grade to the upper grade, so that now we can create a culture, a culture of cycling, a culture. We start building a culture, because today anybody cycling, the people say these are poor people. We want to, that stereotype of believing that anyone who is cycling is poor. We want to change that, so that now from the school, whether it is low grade, everybody is cycling. Then we also want to ensure that when we talk about cycling, it's not just cycling, it becomes a race. And of course, infrastructure, like I said, we want to ensure that the infrastructure, everybody can be able to cycle, everybody can be able to walk. Persons with disability can be able to walk. And finally, what I know about this project on cycling to work, and how we got how I won the SDG Pioneer on Socio-Economic Well-being. I will not also forget that, like I've said, we had a very difficult era. We have had a difficult time when people have mental health issues, depression, suicide cases, anxiety. People do not know what is going to happen. And we saw that 2019, the cases of mental health were 169 in numbers. And in 2020 and 2021, the numbers skyrocketed to 469. That is very alarming. Actually, the other day, mental health has been declared an emergency. So that means cycling will be the first place, whether it is organization, team building, cycling will be the next place. Whether it is business leaders ensuring that their people are cycling to work, this should be something that should be thought of. As I close, I would like to say that the world we are living today is a troubled world. And right now, since COVID pandemic came, we saw that many people closed their business. Many people lost their jobs. Many people's salary was reduced. And now we can actually, I know and I believe that most people have responded. Most people are recovering, and we are creating resilience. But what I know for sure is that if we have to keep going miles and miles, if we have to change the way we do things, then we need to come together. We need collaborations. We can do things together if we collaborate. I keep saying collaboration is the new currency, that the government needs to come on board, the civil society needs to come on board, the private sector needs to come on board, and we need the communities to come together so that we can work together and make the world a better place. There's nobody who solves the world alone, because these are world biggest, most pressing humanity challenges that are worth solving. If we are to achieve the vision 2030, then we must come together, do things differently, and then rethink the role of business in the society. Not to think that it is the government role to address some of the challenges, not to think that it's the NGO's role to address some of the challenges, is that we need to see these challenges, step up, even when people are seated. See, these challenges, speak up, even if people have zipped up, even if you are the only one who can be left standing alone, that we need to do something, shine a spotlight on matters that matters. See something, say something, and do something. Don't think it's the government role, don't think it is someone else's role, but you take up the responsibility and do the right thing, even when doing the right thing is hard to do.